Seen those angry street preachers claiming African Americans are the true Israelites, pointing to Deuteronomy 28:68 as their proof. Let's set the record straight. That verse talks about returning to Egypt by ships. After Jerusalem fell in 70 AD, many Jews were literally shipped off to Egypt and sold as slaves. This directly fulfills the prophecy in its historical context. But here's the thing, the verse also says, "But no one will buy you." During the transatlantic slave trade, enslaved Africans were in high demand. They were bought and sold extensively. This fact doesn't line up with the prophecy at all. Plus, Deuteronomy 28 lists numerous curses for disobedience. Cherry-picking one verse while ignoring the rest of Deuteronomy 28 is a surefire way to misinterpret the text. So, while these groups accuse others of being fake Jews, they're really just cosplaying as Jews themselves. Plus, according to the Apostle Paul, under the New Covenant, a true Jew is one who is inwardly a Jew, whose circumcision is by the Spirit. You've probably seen.
Right, first and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kodash, double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Stone. All right, peace and salutations to the Akim pushing word in all sincerity and all truth, starting with the 144,000. This is going to be a response to this video that you see here, on screen, a short, uploaded. And, this video is for fair use, just for education and critique purposes. And it was uploaded by Testify Apologetics, the friends of Vocab Malone, who, you know, think, that they can debunk, the Hebrew Israelites. But we're going to get into this video. Hopefully this lesson is edifying. So one of the first things that he says is that we use Deuteronomy 28 verse 68 in order to prove, that we are the Israelites. Yes, that is one verse, but we also use all the curses as well. But he claims that we are cherry picking. But let's take apart what he's saying. So let's read verse 20, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt eat no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies, for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Now, one of the first things he said is that was fulfilled in 70 AD. And yes, yeah, a part of it was, but what we're going to show you is that the curses were not poured upon our people just once, right? So this is from Babylon to Timbuktu. And we're going to examine what happened there in 70 AD. So this is from Babylon to Timbuktu, page 84 that we always go to. And we're going to read the second paragraph here. In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter. During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa, fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves, right? And they quoted the prophecy here, verse 64, which is another one that we used, right? It says, "And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone." Then it goes further to say that this prophecy and all the residue of the prophecies contained in Deuteronomy 28, verse 15 to 68, befell the black Jews after they disobeyed the laws of God. Many nations transported Jews into slavery, and the sons of Israel transmigrated to many continents. No, so that's one thing, right? Yes, that happened back then, right? And the ones so what he's saying by suggestion is that the ones in the land right now, the JWOs, those are the true Jews, So I want to see if I can find a quote. Egypt president. Jews left black. Let's see if I can find it. Um, Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. So this is one of one of the famous, quotes that we always bring out, right? It says this is a quote from Gabal Abdel Nasser, the second president of the United Arab Republic, formerly president of the Republic of Egypt. The Europeans claim to be Jews and nothing more than Hebrew speaking Gentiles. The late president of Egypt, Gamal Abdel Nasser, stated on television, "You, the JWs, will never be able to live here in peace because you left here black and came back white." Right? We cannot accept you. And we just showed you from the book, Babylon the Timbuktu, right? That yes, Israelites were Jews, Israelites were sold back in 70 AD after, Jerusalem fell. But the slave masters were full of what? Black Jewish slaves, right? Because they were what? Black, dark, so-called black, dark-skinned men, right? And not the ones that are over there right now. And then the other point he brought up was that, you know, no man shall buy you. So that can't apply to the transatlantic slave trade because we were bought. But you said the Jews were sold in 70 AD. So if they were sold, who bought them? If they were sold, who bought them? Right? Doesn't make any sense, does it? Right? And matter of fact, if you look up this word, because no, you just want to cherry pick because you're saying, oh, somebody bought the the so-called Negroes in the transatlantic slave trade. But if the Jews that you're referring to in 70 ADs were sold to go into Egypt, didn't somebody buy them too? Anyways, the word here is qana, right? And the Strong's here says to erect, i.e., create by extension, to procure, especially by purchase, by implication, to own, to attain, to teach, to keep cattle, to get, to provoke to jealousy, to purchase, to recover, to redeem. So one of the meanings of that word is to redeem, right? Meaning no one will redeem us because we've been, here and have not been redeemed by anybody. There have been many men who came up, saying that they, would redeem us, or people believe that they will redeem us, like Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. You have national heroes here in Jamaica, like what's his name again? Sam Sharp, Nanny of the Maroons, all these different um Messiah figures that didn't redeem us, right? Now, if we look at the curses themselves, the curses didn't come upon our people just one time. Right? This is Daniel chapter 9 and verse 7. Right? And Daniel was in Babylonian captivity, Neo-Babylonian captivity. O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of faces, as at this day, to the men of Judah, to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and to all Israel that are near and that are far off, throughout all the countries whither thou hast driven them, because their trespass that they have trespassed against thee. O Lord, to us belongeth confusion of face, to our kings, to our princes, to our fathers, because we have sinned against thee. To the Lord belong mercies and forgiveness, though we have rebelled against him. Neither have we obeyed the voice of the Lord our God to walk in his laws, which he set before us by his servants. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him. And he has confirmed his word, which he has spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. Right? So, and this was not the first time that it happened, right? Because even when during the time of the judges, when we broke the commandments, each time we broke the commandments, the Lord would raise up an enemy and we would be sold into captivity under them until a judge came to redeem us, right? So it didn't happen once. And when it happened here in the Babylonian captivity, did we not go after that to the Medo Persian captivity, to the Greek captivity, and then to the Roman captivity? Come on, right? So the curses were not fulfilled just once. And we can get also Joel chapter 3, and we'll start from verse 3. It says, and they have cast lust for my people, and are given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. When did this happen? When did this happen? Was it 70 AD? Was this another time? Right? Because we know that this happened during the transatlantic slave trade, right? It says, yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head, because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temple my goodly pleasant things. The children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye may remove them far from their border. All right, now I wanted to get back to this idea of being redeemed. Now that goes back to Allah, right, of redeeming a poor man in Leviticus chapter 25, verse 47. It says, if a sojourner or stranger watch rich by thee, and thy brother that dwelleth by him wax poor, and sell himself unto the stranger or sojourner by thee, or to the stock of the stranger's family, and that he sold, after that he is sold, he may be redeemed again. one of his brethren may redeem him, either his uncle's son may redeem him, or any that is nigh of kin unto him of his family may redeem him, or if he be able, he may redeem himself. Right? So the law of the kinsman redeemer, right, is what Yahushai fulfilled for us. This is Isaiah 59, verse 20. And the Redeemer shall come to where? To Zion. Not to everybody. The Redeemer shall come to Zion. And to them that turn from transgression in Jacob, saith the Lord. Right? And that's why in Luke 168, it goes into the same thing. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, specifically again, for he has visited and redeemed his people and has raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David. Now, I want to go into that word, um, horn, keras, right? It says, horn. Um, so I'm going to read the second one, right? Since animals defend themselves, their horns, the horn with the Hebrews is a symbol of strength and courage and used as such in a variety of phrases. A mighty and valiant helper, the author of deliverance of the Messiah. That would be what? That would be our kinsman redeemer, right? So he redeemed us through Yahweh's blood, as he has spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world begun, that we should be saved from our enemies, the same enemies that we would be sold to if we broke the covenants, and that we were sold to because we continued to break the covenant. But Yahweh redeemed us, right? Saved us from our enemies, right? And from the hand of all that hate us, to perform the mercy promised to our fathers and to remember his holy covenant. Because really and truly, that's what salvation is. It is the fulfillment of this promise that was made, this covenant that was made with our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? The oath which he sware unto our father Abraham that he would grant unto us, that we, being delivered out of the hand of our enemies, might serve him without fear, in holiness and righteousness before him all the days of our life. Right? So again, we can prove another point from the curse of the law. Right? In Galatians 3, showing you that even the Galatians were Israelites, because Paul said this in Galatians 3, verse 13, Yahushai has redeemed us from the curse of the law, right? So the curse of the law would be what we're focusing on one in this video, verse 68, right? Which is us we being sold unto our enemies. That's one of the curse of the law that Yahushua redeemed us from, being made a curse for us, for it is written, cursed is everyone that hangeth on a tree. And when he returns, he will what? He will come to collect his purchased possession. Right? Let me see if I can get that. Ephesians 1, verse 14, right? It says, which is the earnest of our inheritance until the redemption, again, see, redeemed, of the purchased possession unto the praise of his glory. And we could look up that word earnest, or a bond, right? It means a pledge, part of purchase money or property given in advance as security for the rest, right? So we have gotten a down payment, as security that when Yahushua returns, we will be fully redeemed, from the hand of the enemies, right? That's what that's going into. And speaking of cherry picking, if he's saying that, the people know in the land, the JWs, the small hats are the ones who are the true people. If you go to other curses, let's bring out another curse, right? Boom, 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 boom. See if I can find it here. Right, yeah. Deuteronomy 28, verse 42. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. Does that fit them? Does that fit them? He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. These men own every major industry, the banking industry, the film industry. You understand? These men own it, right? In America, the government is pretty much owned by them. You understand? By the JW lobby. They they own American politics. They're over there right now bombing people, right? So how are they the tail and not the head? Right? That's rubbish. That, of course, that doesn't fit them. But again, they are accused us of cherry picking, but they are actually the ones, doing, the cherry picking. And he mentioned, Paul, saying that Paul said one is a Jew inward. Yes, because what Paul was saying, matter of fact, let me get Yahweh words. Um, Abraham children. Right, right. So this is John chapter 8, and let's see. And verse 33 says, they answered him, saying, we be Abraham's seed, and we were never in bondage to any man. How sayest thou, ye shall be made free? Yahushua answered them, saying, verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committed sin is a servant of sin, and the servant abideth not in the house forever, but the Son abideth forever. If the Son therefore shall make you free, ye shall be free indeed. It says, I know that you are Abraham's seed, right? Physical seed, right? But ye seek to kill me because my word has no place in you. I speak that which I have seen with my father, and ye do that which ye have seen with your father. And they answered and said unto him, Abraham is our father. Yahushua said unto them, if you were Abraham's children, you would do the works of Abraham. Right? So what he's saying is that yes, physically you are an Israelite, but inwardly, you're not doing the things that an Israelite should do. And that goes back to even Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 21. Yet I planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? And you look up that word degenerate, right? Let's look it up. Degenerate, right? It says decline or deteriorate physically, mentally, morally. Having lost the physical, mental, or moral qualities considered to be normal or desirable, showing evidence of decline, right? And if you go down to the origin, late 15th century, from Latin degeneratus, no longer of its kind, right? So it literally means that you're falling away from your race or kind. You're no longer an Israelite because you're not doing the things that an Israelite is supposed to do, right? Which is what keeping the law, statutes, and judgments of the Heavenly Father. That's why Paul stressed being a Jew inwardly, right? Because Yahweh Shai even said it, Matthew. Let's get Matthew 23, right? This is Matthew chapter 23, right? And let me just get to the point. Boom, boom. Yep. Verse 25. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you make clean the outside of the cup of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess. Though blind Pharisee cleanse first that was within the cup and platter, that outside of them may be clean also. Right? Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, for you are like unto whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but within are full of dead men's bones and of all uncleanness. Even so ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within ye are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. Right? And Paul was also alluding, to the fact that the laws that were given, the carnal ordinances, were a shadow of the spiritual significance that were beneath them, and what Yahweh Shai would come and do. But that's another time for another lesson, you know. So again, you err not knowing the scriptures, right? But until next time, shalom. Hopefully this was edifying.